English questions about advice. What does asking for advice mean? When you ask someone for advice, it means that you've got a problem or something that is worrying you, and you want to ask someone's opinion on what to do. We usually go to someone that we can trust for advice, like a friend, perhaps a family member, your parents, or maybe it's someone in your life like a teacher that can help you with your problem. What problem do you need advice for? Some of the problems we struggle with is usually relationship advice. If you are having an issue with someone that you like or want to date, then you go to a friend and ask for advice. It could also be financial advice, asking what you should do with your money, how should you save it, or how should you invest your money. What is some good advice that you've heard recently? I was going through Instagram where I saw a quote, "Only in the scariest cave will you find your treasure." That means that if you really want something bad enough, then you're going to have to do something difficult to get it. You're going to have to face your fears to get that treasure. So that is some good advice that I read on Instagram. What problems do people normally ask advice for? Like I've said before, we usually ask advice for problems that we have, or relationship issues, financial problems, or just some ideas for something that is going on in our lives. What advice would you give to someone who wants to study English? I would tell them to make English a part of their daily life. So it should be a routine. If they're studying, they should study a certain amount of time every day. If they are practicing, they should practice with as many people as possible. If they are watching TV, they should see it as a way to study. Everything in their lives should be geared towards learning English. Do you search for advice online? What are some reputable sources? Sometimes if I have a problem, I search for it on YouTube or on Google. I go to some well-known sites like How To. Or if I have a medical problem, I can look up the symptoms on the internet from some good websites too. On YouTube, you go to videos with a lot of views, and then you can watch it to see if that advice helps you or not. What advice would you give yourself when you were younger? If I gave myself advice when I was younger, I would tell myself to be brave. There are many things that I really wanted when I was young, but I was too afraid to go for it. So I would tell myself to be brave and just try. Because even if I don't achieve or get what I want, the pursuit of that thing will improve me as a person. Please give me some advice. I want to quit smoking. You should read a book called How to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. In that book, he gives lots of good tips and information on how to quit smoking. The main problem with quitting cigarettes is that we think that we need it in our lives. We basically brainwash ourselves thinking that we enjoy it. But if you look at someone who doesn't smoke, cigarettes don't affect them at all. If you completely read the book by Alan Carr, it will help you brainwash yourself and quit smoking for good. Many friends that have read the whole book have quit, so try it out. Don't listen to someone's criticism that you won't go to for advice. What does this mean? In this world, everyone has an opinion. And those opinions are often negative. They give a lot of criticism. Now, criticism can be very useful if it comes from a good source. But if it's just negative and it can't help you, don't listen to it. Only go to someone that you would go to for advice and listen to their criticism. Other people's criticism doesn't matter that much. What 3 pieces of advice would you give your future children? Be yourself, be your best, and enjoy life. I would tell them to be themselves and enjoy the things that they enjoy. But I would also remind them to try and be the best at whatever they like doing. Otherwise, they will never become successful. So, the third piece of advice is also to enjoy life because you only have one. Why do we ask other people for advice? When you are stuck in your own life, you don't have a clear view of what is going on. And perhaps your opinion or your thought process is clouded by your own personal experience. That is why if we go to someone on the outside that we can trust, a friend, a parent or a teacher, they can give us good advice to see our problem clearer and understand what to do. Who do you usually ask for advice? I usually ask advice of my friends. I have some good friends that if I have a problem, I go to them and I ask their opinion. They usually give me advice or they help me feel better about my choices. Have you ever given someone the wrong advice? Possibly, but I can't remember right now. Have I ever given anyone bad advice? I don't think so. I think I've given my honest opinion to someone. If that advice turned out to be good or bad, I can't say for sure. What advice would you give yourself right now? If I gave myself advice right now, I would tell myself to relax and focus on the work at hand. Do not get distracted by other things. Life will continue and you will find your place. Only worry about the things that you can control in your life. The things you can't control, don't sweat it. What advice would you give about being successful with money? First off, you want to be smart with how you spend your money so that you can save a little bit. Then that money, you should practice investing it. So learn all you can about investing your money so that it can grow. Has a friend ever come to you for advice with their love life? Yes, some friends have come to me for advice on their love life. Usually it is something like a problem in their relationship, or they really like a girl and they want to talk to her. So I would give them advice on how to act and how to talk to her, how to communicate. Even though I am not perfect in my love life, it is sometimes easier to give advice to someone else. What advice would you give the leader of your country or your principal? If I gave advice to the principal of my school, I would tell him to focus on online education. Because of the whole epidemic, a lot of people need to move online. And if our university was the best out of all the other universities and pushed a lot of resources into online education, it would stand out from the rest. But too many schools are slow in responding to this crisis. I'm from South Africa, and if I had to give the leader of our country some advice, I would tell him to focus on getting rid of corruption. Please give me some advice. I would like to get in shape. If you want to get in shape, 80% of it is what you eat and 20% is exercise. So first off, you need to limit what you eat and how much you eat. Try and eat healthier and also smaller portions. When it comes to exercise, don't push yourself too hard, but make it a daily event. So when you wake up, have a coffee, go for a walk, or go to the gym for a couple of minutes. Don't push yourself too hard. Just tell yourself, I will just do a little bit today. So if you tell yourself, I will just do 5 push-ups, you will start and you will do 5 push-ups because it's easy. But maybe you will do more after that because you already started. It's all about gaining momentum with our habits. But a lot of people try to quickly get into shape, and that doesn't work. Whose advice would you never take? I would never take the advice of someone I don't respect. So if someone isn't doing very well financially, I won't ask them for financial advice. If I don't like the way that someone handles their relationships, I won't go to them for relationship advice. What advice would you give your parents? My parents have helped me so much in my life. I would tell them to relax and to do things that they enjoy. I would also ask them to be more open to try new things and to not get stuck in one way of thinking. I hope that advice would help them to enjoy their lives. If you would like more English questions like these, check out the book in the description below.